Good evening. Today I'd like to take you through Photoshop tools and how to use some of these tools and what we use to edit Photoshop. Photoshop is majorly used to edit photorealistic images or images that are scanned, and these are the real images. And these images use pixels, and therefore when you edit using Photoshop, then it becomes easy for you to do what you want with your photos. We'll begin with the tools that we have, and at the top you can see we have the menu bar, and the menu bar do have different options. It gives you the opportunity to alter the image depending on the options that you choose from. So under the file menu, this gives you an option of opening a new file. Uh, that is a new document. Then also you can open a file, you can locate a file from where it is, and then you have it in your Photoshop. It also gives you an opportunity to save this. And this is the when you are saving your work for the first time. When you're saving your work for the first time, then you should go to file and then save it so that you can retrieve it later. And then it also gives you an option of place embedded. This is when you are also importing photos from elsewhere so that you can have it on this screen or this page where we have the Photoshop. Under the edit menu, this enables you to undo what you had edited before, or maybe what you think like you deleted by mistake, so you can still undo. And then also this option where you have step backward. Sometimes you're trying to undo what you had done before, but you can only do it once. So you can come back to the edit menu and then you step backward, and this will not restrict you on the number of times you want to redo your work. And then we also have the other menu, which is the image. This allows you to adjust your image, that is its exposure, its brightness, also some like if you want to invert an image, etc. It also enables you to trim an image, to crop also an image, though we have the other tools where you can use it to crop your image. With the layers enables you to create a new layer. You can also duplicate your layers. You can add on the layer mask. You can also change your object, or you can convert to smart object, and this gives you that option to do so. Under the type, this also enables you to edit your text. You can change its orientation, like how do you want your text to appear? It's in a horizontal way or in a vertical way. Do you want it to look like it's in a portrait or on a landscape? So this also gives you that opportunity. Under selection, or under the select menu, this enables you to select the objects you have, to deselect also the objects that you have. And with the filter, you can add on some filters to your image, like you want to blur your image, you want to add a noise to the image. This also menu gives you all the opportunity to do all that to your image. The other important one is the windows. With the windows, you get everything from the windows. For instance, if your toolbox is not present on your screen, and then you can go to Windows and check in. But let's check what I want to do right now. If I click on tools, then my tools disappear. But now if you find that your toolbox is not with you, then you can go back to the window and you check in. Same to layers, and remember you should be working with the layers. So if you find that your panel for the layers is not with you, or it's not on the screen, it's not displayed on the screen, and then you can go back and click on layers so that is displayed on the screen. So if I click check, the right hand side does not have the panel for the layer, so you go back to the window and you check in. So in simple, anything that you'd want to use and it is not available on the screen, you go back to your windows and then you click, or you make them active. You get them through this menu for the windows. Then below the menu bar, we have the options bar, and under the options bar, that is where your active tool, or the tool that you're using currently is active, and it gives you several options. Like here we have the clone stamp, which is very active currently. I think that is what is selected. So this gives you the opportunity to change the option, or depending on the options that you're given here. On your left hand side, you have the toolbox, and the toolbox also, these are the tools that now you use to edit your images. And if you want your images to appear on one column, then you can by clicking this arrow so that they appear on one column. If you feel comfortable when they appear on two columns, then this will be okay for you. You now have your tools on two columns, so you can choose that. On the right hand side, you have the panel. With the panel, you'll be given several also options here where you can play with so that you can have your photos to appear how you want those photos to be like or to look like. We have the colors. You can choose your colors from here. Others will go for the swatches where you can just click on the color that you feel like it's good for your image. Also depending on the, let's say, the requirements that you've been given to work on that image. Then also you can add on your brightness that is under the adjustments panel. So you can add on your brightness to the image. You can also have these other options like the levels. You want to check the adjustment layers. How do you want your layers to look like? So if you click here, you can play around with these adjustments or the levels on how you want your image to appear like. Like if you move to the right or if you move to the right, to the left, then this changes your image. So but for now we don't want to use that. Then also given like curves, you can still play with them. All these options that you're given here, you can still choose with this other adjustment layer. Like if you want your image to appear like that, then you can go back to the other adjustments. So, but for now, we don't want to change anything. So I have to really undo what I have done there because we are not in for changing right now. So we have the layers. The layers is very important because this is now what helps you to edit individual photos. And if you really want to edit individual photos, then you create new layers. And with these new layers, it enables you to edit each photo or each image individually. So how do you create new layers? So you come to the bottom where you can see an icon where you can create a new layer. So if you click there, then it gives you a new layer, and with this new layer you can rename it by double clicking, and let's say joy. So anything that you want to maybe to work on, you should create a new layer so that it enables you to edit individual objects. Why do we say so? Because if you combine all in one layer, then later it will be hard for you to edit individual images. So it's good for you to use different layers, to use each layer for everything you edit or everything you add on to your documents. You can also delete your layer by just dragging it on the trash bin here, or you can just right click and then you delete the layer. And then also if you right click, then it gives you some other options, like you want to maybe blend your photos or your images, where if you click here, then it gives you all the opportunities to change how your photo looks like. Like if you see what I'm doing right now, it's changing our image, but for now we don't want to change this image. So if you right click the layer, then it gives you the blending option where you can change your objects or your image. You can also change the ranges here if you wish to. The opacity you can still change, so you can just play along, you can just play with all these options you are given here. And then we move on to our tools. The tools that we have here all have each, they all have different purposes. So if we begin with the first tool, we have the rectangular marquee tool. The rectangular marquee tool will help you to select objects in a rectangular manner like this. If you want to select, say some objects here, and then you select it rectangular. So it's not good for all objects. It's only for specific objects, especially if they are in a rectangular manner. And then we move on to the other tool, which is the elliptical tool. Elliptical tool will help you to choose in an elliptical manner like this. So you can choose you can select an image using the elliptical tool only if you see that it's good for that image. Like now for this one, we can select choosing the elliptical tool. Then the other tool, we have the move tool. The move tool will help you to move images up and down. It helps you to move your objects up and down. So if I open just a new, let's say a new file, and I draw a shape. Let me draw this shape here. So my move tool will help me to move this tool from one direction to another direction. The other tool is the lasso tool. So if you just check its, let's on the just on its right hand side of that tool, you're given more options that you can choose from. So the lasso tool will help you to select your objects using your free hand, like this. So you select the object using your free hand, and then you close it, and maybe you can move along. So let me get back to the other tool, like this one. It helps me to choose this image using my free hand, and then I can do anything to this image. I can move it around, I can delete, I can do anything to it. Then we have the polygon tool. The polygon tool will help you to select an image in a polygon way, like you're following a specific angle for you to select. So it may not be good for all objects, especially where you have void edges or where you have some curved areas. So it may not really be good for you. So you use a selection tool depending on the kind of objects you are selecting, and then it will be good for you to move on. And then you have the magnetic lasso tool, still like a polygon tool, but with this one, you can move just like using your free hand, but still it may not be good for all the objects. And also you should know how to close this tool, because not all you close it by just double clicking or a single click to close the end. So with this one, you right click, and then it helps you to select your tool. Now move on to the other tool, which is the quick selection tool. The quick selection tool, this helps you to select your objects from inside moving outwards or from inside moving outside. Then if you find that you have over selected or you have selected some areas and cut off other areas, you're given some options here where you can add on to what you have deleted or what you didn't select, and also you can deselect some areas. Like this one with a plus helps you to extend your selection. Like here, I didn't select all the areas, but you see what it's doing again. So I have to deselect by using the where I can subtract my selection. So I move again back, and then I select my area, the specific areas I want to have, or I want to copy, or I want to use it elsewhere. You can go back again and you click. Sorry, I have to add on so that I can select this other area. So I have to select this other area also. I have to reduce because I have over selected. So with the quick selection tool, you select from inside moving outward. This also will apply to some objects. And then you have the magic wand. The magic wand tool will help you to select an area that has almost the same color, It's going to select an area that has the same color all through. Like here, it's trying to select an area that has navy blue. If I select this other area, you see what's happening. It's selecting an area that has the same color. And then we move on to the crop tool. The crop tool will help you to crop your objects, like here. So if I want to crop this area, or I just want this part of the image, and then I can crop, or I can have the portions that I would wish to have. Then you can also resize it so that maybe you can have the areas that you feel okay for you. The other tool is the eyedropper tool. The eyedropper tool will help you to pick sample from another color, and then it's like you're using a sample color. You're using color from elsewhere so that you can apply it on another surface. And a good example is if we have this shape here. So if we select this shape here, any so any object, or let's say any shape that I'm going to draw here, or I'm going to design here, will follow or will have this color where I would select my eyedropper. So once you select your eyedropper, you see the color appears here, like you have selected this color here. So this is our sample color. The eyedropper has picked this color. So I'm going to use it for our next drawing or for our text. So if I text like communication, the sample color has already been picked by the eyedropper so that we can use it for our next drawing. So if, or our next text. So if I draw a shape, let me draw another shape here. So it's going to have, or you're going to apply the same color. What if I change this color? So let me use red, and then our eyedropper picks this color red here. So I ensure that the tool is selected or is active here. So if I draw another shape, like a polygon to here, and change its color to red, let me change the fill color to red. Okay, but now take note that our eyedropper is going to pick the color that is selected. So if I pick my eyedropper on another color, so let me choose the let me go for this tool here. I think there were two. Okay, it's deselected. So let me pick the love, that is the heart. Okay, if I pick the eyedropper tool and pick, I hope you're seeing what's happening. If I click this one, this is the color that our eyedropper has picked. And then if I click this one, then the color that we're going to use is purple. So let me draw another shape, and then we get the difference, like a rectangular shape. So it's supposed to pick the purple color, or let me change that color. Let me change the fill color to this blue here. And then I move on to the heart shape and draw another rectangular, another square. Still it's a rectangular shape, so it's going to pick that color. So the eyedropper will always or can be used as a sample in another tool. And then if I pick, let's say this red, this is the color that has been picked. How you choose or how you check is on your left hand side. So if I draw another shape, then it's going to, or if I type, then it's going to pick the color that is active education. Yeah, because eyedropper picked this color, which is red or orange. Then we move on to the other tool. We have, so moving on, we have the brush tool. So the brush tool will help you to brush along or to color your areas. Like here, yes, you can choose the colors. You can always pick on your favorite colors. You can have all these colors here. You can also change the size and the type of brush. So if I choose or I pick that type of brush, then I'm going to have a heavy, or let's say it's so thick, and that's the kind of a brush I've chosen. So you can change the size, at the same time the type of brush that you want to use. You also have the pencil tool. So you can also choose the size and the type. You can also pick on the color that you want. Yeah. This should enable you to brush on your tools. So if you are planning to color a place, then you can use your brush tool and also your pencil tool. Then we move on to the spot healing brush and the healing brush, and then we have the patch tool. So there's a difference between the spot healing brush and the healing brush. The spot healing brush will help you to get rid of spots, while the healing brush, you use it like a clone stamp. You use it like you want to have an area to be similar to another area. That is the work of a healing brush. So for instance, for my spot healing brush, if we want to heal an area here, let's just assume like we want to get rid of this. We don't want this spot here. So I choose my spot healing brush and try to get rid of this spot here. So I can increase the size since it's smaller, so that it enables me to move on very fast. So you increase the size, then, okay, so I was not on the right layer. So ensure also you are on the right layer, because on the right hand side, you make sure that the layer you are working on is active or is highlighted on your right hand side. And then we get rid of this spot here. We don't want to see any spot on this area. That is the work of a spot healing brush. What about a healing brush? A healing brush is used to, it's used to heal a place or make it similar, like that particular area. Maybe you find another area has some spots, or let's say it has a different color from another area. For instance, here looks like, if you see clearly, somehow bluish, yet the next surface looks like it's brown in color. So I can pick um, the other area. So you hold on your Alt key and then you pick that area. You just click. Once you click, you can rub it here, like you want the other area to look like here, somehow brown. And then you get rid of the blue thing. So I can pick again the other area. You just click, you hold on your Alt key until you see this sign showing you that you are now using your healing brush. Then you can rub it against, sorry for that. Then you can rub it against here. So like it's becoming brown or almost similar. Yeah. And then you see we have some spot here. So you can get back to your spot healing brush and try to get rid of that spot there. And all is done, all is good. The other tool is the patch tool. Now with the patch tool, you select an area and then you move it either to the right or to the left so that it can appear like there was no object in that area. So you want to get rid of, this object here. So you select this object and then you close it. Try to move to the right or to the left and ensure you are not interfering with the other images. So that is how to use the patch tool. So let me redo it again. For instance, you want to get rid of this object here, the red object here. So you click on your patch tool and then you select this object here and try to move it either to the right or to the left where you find it's okay, and ensure you don't interfere with the other object because it's going to duplicate the other object. But you see, it's like it's not really completely uh, or has not completely been removed. So you can move it elsewhere where it's maybe it's okay. Then you can still use your spot healing brush, get rid of the spots. Okay, I'm still using the spot healing brush to get rid of some spots. Then it will be okay for you. So we have just gotten rid of that spot area. But now the healing brush will help you make like this area should appear like the other area, like there's nothing before. So you again hold on your Alt key, click that area, and then you try to rub against here so that it appears like nothing was removed from that area and all is good. So you can see it's like it's almost the same as the other area. We move on to the other tool, which is the clone stamp. Clone stamp helps you to duplicate an object. Like you want to duplicate this object here. So you hold again your Alt key, and then you choose the area where you want, or you select the area where you want to duplicate, and then you rub against where you want it to be duplicated. And now we have it here. So we have duplicated using the clone stamp. And it's like it left some spots, but I think because it had some shade on this area, we can still copy this one. That is, you want to duplicate this one. So you hold on your Alt key, and then you click this object, and you want to duplicate it here. So you rub against that area where you want it to be duplicated. Yeah, exactly like this other object. Then we move on to the other tool, which is the eraser. The eraser will help you to erase some unwanted objects or spots. You can also increase the size if you find like you're wasting more time. Make it bigger or make it larger. And also we have different types of brushes. You can also choose the color that you want. Erasers, sorry. We have different types of erasers you can choose from and find the one that is good for you. You can choose the type of eraser you want, then you can use it. You can also choose the color, then it helps you to erase. You can choose color, if white or the color that you choose. And then we have the gradient tool. Gradient tool changes the colors. Like, let me just open a new document. Then we draw a shape and you try to see how our gradient changes. So with this one, it moves from it moves your tool from one direction to another direction, depending on how you choose it or how you have selected. Like here, maybe you want to move from, let me fill with color. Let me choose another color, yellow. So if you pick our gradient tool, the gradient tool now will help you to select your, like the direction where you want to apply your color, and this has filled the whole area. So let me choose a better one. Like this one, it's Yeah, so it's helping you to choose the direction or the type of gradients that you want to apply on your objects. But you can define the direction on how you want it to be applied, like from the left hand side, from the top, from or diagonally. That will depend on how you want to change your gradients. We move on to the other tool. We have the dodge tool. The dodge tool will help you to make your objects or the area you have selected brighter, and you can always change the size. You find like it's really small for you, you can change the size. Like here, if you see what's happening here, it's making this area appear brighter. And see here, it's becoming brighter. And then the other tool is the band tool. Band tool is the opposite of dodge tool, so it will make an area look darker. Like here, so let me just review here. It's making it darker, look like it's dark. And then we have the sponge tool. Will have some mixing effects on an object. Let me increase the size so that you can see the effects. So it should have some mixing effects on an object. Let me increase, let me add it. Okay, you may not see it clearly on that one. Here, if you can see, it's changing. I think maybe to the type. It has some mixing, if mixing effects on the object. Like you can see, it's changing the mixing effect. It's making it look somehow purplish, somehow dark. It's not like the original image that we had or the other images that we had before. So that one has some mixing effects on an object. Let me just try on this one. Not to be very clear, but on the previous image, you could see that it was changing, but it had some mixing effects. Then we move on to the blur tool. Blur tool will make an object look blur, or it makes it look like it's not clear. Check the difference between the two. So I made it like it's not really clear, or let me use this one. Let me make this one to look blur. It's not very clear compared to the other one that we had duplicated. So it's not very clear. You may not know exactly maybe what it is if I apply the effects of making it blur and then sharpening it. You are making the image look very pronounced or very clear, like especially on a rough edge. Just check the difference here. It's making it look very clear, like it's so pronounced. What is the function of that tool? You see, like it's making it look pronounced. Then the smudge tool. The smudge tool will have some mixing effects on an image, like you can see here. This has some mixing effects on it. These objects here, like it's moving or it has some movements. So it has some mixing effects. Unlike the other one, unlike the sponge tool changes this color saturation of an object. So if you could check the difference between the two, this one changes the color saturation. Like here, it's making it darker. It's making it like, it's giving it another color. But with the sponge tool, which is the one that we have here, the smudge tool, not the sponge tool, changes the color saturation. This is a mixing up. So So the sponge tool will change the color saturation, while the smudge tool will have some mixing effects. So that gets the difference between the two. The smudge tool will have some mixing effects, while the sponge tool changes the color saturation. Like the one that you have just seen here, the smudge tool, it changes the color saturation of this object. Then we move on to the other tool, which is the type tool. This enables you to type or have some text on your page where you can change. Let me change the color of this text, red. Okay, check again your layer. So you can alter the layer. So the fruits of education, what I have to do is, so the fruits of education, I want to change, or I want to type here, or I can still type the fruits of education. Then I can now use my move tool to move these texts maybe to the middle. Then you can change this text here. You can have different effects. You can change the color. You can also uh, have some effects. You can maybe type it on an arc way. You can have like on a flag, change that is at the top here where you're given some options. You can change, you can work your text, maybe appear upper, etc. So you can change the text depending on the requirements that you have. You can also change the color. You can change all that you would wish to. You can change the family. Like maybe you want to make it the text to appear in capital in that way, or to have that effect. Then you can change the size here. You can increase, you can reduce. Then how you want it to appear, like smooth, or yeah, you can change uh, depending on what you are editing. You can keep on changing. Then you have the shapes. On right hand side, you have your different shapes here. You can play along with the shapes. You can also convert your shapes. You can draw a polygon with different colors. You can add on your colors. And then we have the other tool, which is the path selection tool. The path selection tool will help you to select the anchor points and helps you to move your objects up and down. And then we have the direct selection tool. The direct selection tool, you can play along with the shape, like you are changing the shape totally. You can add on anchor points, or you can use your anchor points to come up with a shape of your own. And especially when you are maybe designing a poster and you want some shape, maybe that you do not find it on the tools that you are given. So you can use your direct selection tool to change the shape. The path selection tool will only help you to move your object up and down, but you may not change the shape itself. It can only help you to move it around. Then you have this other one where you can swap between the fill color, the foreground color and the background color. You have the foreground color and the background color, so you can always swap here. Like let me draw a shape, then you see what happens. I want to draw polygon here. So you can always swap these colors. Like one is used for the fill color and the other one for the foreground color, and you can always change. For the background is what is behind, and the foreground is what is above it. So if you want to change your background color, you can always swap from here. So one, it's indicated here, the foreground color. So this is what appears on the object itself. But what is behind, that is the background color. The background color will be what's appearing behind the object. Then the other tool is the pen tool. The pen tool will help you to draw shapes, alter your shapes whenever you want them. And as I said again, this will help you to come up with some shapes that maybe you may not find or you are provided for. So here you can always change. How do you use the pen tool? You're given different options, like you can add on anchor points, you can delete anchor points. So if you click on one area like here, I want to draw a shape using the pen tool. So I can click on one point, I move on to the other point, then I combine my anchor points. But now, if you want to draw a smooth, let's say a smooth line or a smooth shape, you click here and then you hold on your shift key, then you draw it, or you make sure that you have closed your edges. Now there's a difference. You can see when I click here, it shows me some crosshairs, like I'm ready to draw a shape or I'm ready to move along. But now, if I want to draw, let's say, this shape here, and I want to maybe close it, there's something like a circle that appears on its edge, showing you that maybe you want to close up or you want to have a shape. Then this also helps you to draw some shapes, like maybe what you may not really get from other tools. So with this one, you can practice slowly and then you form your own shapes. So with this one, it takes some time for you to really come up with the shapes that maybe you want to draw or to come up with. Then you can add on your fill color. You can always change the fill color. If maybe you want that color after selecting your object, then you can fill it. So these are the specific tools for Photoshop that should enable you to at least edit or enables you to draw some shapes or to color your objects, to add in some effects on your photos. And if you explore all the tools, then that will be good for you. So I wish you all the best as you try to learn some of these tools, especially the pen tool. But I still send you another tutorial on how to use the pen tool. Pen tool is very important, especially when you want to draw some shapes that you may not find elsewhere. Thank you. I wish you all the best as you try to practice using these tools.